see you. Welcome back around. Council's been in session since 2 p.m. We did take action under item 4A to accept April 2025 cash flow budget. We took action under item 4B and 4C to accept the Gaming Commission report and Gaming Compliance report for February 2025. We will move to item 7 on our agenda, the Treasurer's Financial Status Report for February 2025.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't know if you guys want to go through page by page or have you had a chance to look at it. Is there any questions? Otherwise, we can just move on. The first page is the general governmental page. I do see they do have the correct dates in there and stuff. I'm not sure, is there any questions on this sheet? If not, we'll move on. The next one is the Early Childhood Center, and I do believe we are going to change the name of that to the education. And there's no comments on this one, but I did get an email letting us know. I do believe they were busy last Friday with trying to get their grants and stuff together, so they didn't have time to submit the email. I do see Dee commented, can someone let tribal council know that comments were not received by the program by the deadline, and that in the future programs will be informed of a hard deadline to submit the comments.
Heather's usually always here, but I don't see Heather today. But why on the summary is there a negative fund balance on court?
When I looked at that one, it looks like it's coming from their third party, their court third party forfeiture.
So they're adding it in as what, like a depreciation or a liability? But if you look at the summary page, the next page, right after that, this is $27,000 negative fund balance. So I don't know if that's just an Excel mixed up, but we need that changed. For the official record.
I know I see that too, and I looked at the court page, and it is actually a negative in their third-party forfeitures. But I will reach out to Ujke or Heather and ask the question.
Yeah.
And I will let you guys know.
If that's just liabilities, I don't know that it should be recorded like that.
Okay.
Any other questions on the financial status report?
And I have been meeting as much as I can when we do have meetings set up with the accounting office, and I did attend like the language program. I attended a few of them, and to me, I do believe the FSR is getting better. I mean, it still needs a little work here and there, but it is.
I guess I've noticed even in the email exchanges and everything else that you're still having problems getting some of this stuff together. And, you know, I wonder as, you know, with the full-time position, why we're still struggling to obtain this information to compile this report. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm just asking, I guess, because I'm guessing that's part of the reason why we established this position as full-time, to make sure that we could have this done. And then if you're struggling with working with staff or program directors or whatever it may be, you know, I guess, where the hang up is.
Well, I'm not gonna speak to personnel issues in open session, but we could move into executive and let Alana speak to some of those challenges. I think it's a combination of things. But there's definitely some, challenges with, I don't know, staff just not.
There's some challenges with staff turnover.
Organizationally, some issues.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we don't need to get into the dirty details, but it, you know, is it capacity, or, you know, have you identified, is it a capacity issue, or of course, maybe it's something else that I don't, you know, I'm unaware of, that I don't see through the emails or whatever else that comes across, but I guess I'm just curious, and if there's, you know, motions or something that need to give formal direction in order to give Laura that authority, or somebody maybe a little bump or encouragement to get this stuff done, so it makes the position for Laura easier, and the staff as well, coming from everybody that views it, touches it, sees it, or has any part of it, that it flows. I mean, this should be now flowing pretty smooth, but I still see there's some hiccups and hang-ups as well.
Oh, yeah. We can bring a recommendation to council. I don't know that it should require council action to consider that, but, you know, maybe that's what it would take, is that the administration is, managing the situations, meeting regularly, providing assistance, providing services and guidance, and there still seems to be like, what is the challenge? Is it policy? Is it process? Is it?
Well, and that's part of my question, and how formal action and motions even assist administration in doing these things, and making these things happen. You know, and I'm not, like I said, I don't know what I don't know, and it's my opportunity to ask the question, since I'm here. Maybe I'm better off on the other side of the screen so you don't hear me. But you know, I think, you know, as we're trying to administration and building capacity with executive officers, assistants, and moving things forward, that how do I try to help better the situation, so when it comes to making the motion, because, you know, they got to come at this level to approve these things, so we have confidence, and everybody has the proper tools and assistance that they need to perform the task. So
Yeah, it's probably helpful for everyone just to, hear from council what exactly they are expecting from these reports, and whether or not they're feeling like they're getting what they need to feel informed and confident about the financial status of the government programs.
And, you know, I kind of made it.
And if it's comments, then they're here.
Well, and I kind of made a joke to Dave that I don't know that the date changes all the time, of why we can't get these comments on the reports, because that's what helps me. I'm not in the day-to-day, but as I go through it, because I get the packet, and this is my opportunity to review it and to be able to see the comments. So, and I don't want to take our wasting time for the program directors that work all day to come here and have to sit through this, and so is everybody else here. But to be able to have my questions answered for me by those comments, and say, okay, as I see these, that's handled, it's being addressed, there's reasons why, but when they're blank, it makes it a little more difficult. And I know that there's a timeline and deadline happens same time, every month. That
We
it
even
doesn't,
extended that, we extended it for the finance department.
and not to pick on education, but just because it was said, well, there was a deadline for a grant. Well, it doesn't matter, because there's always been a deadline for, these reports.
And I know too that the finance department changed it up last month. I think was the first month that they were meeting with the administrators to work on getting the comments in. I'm not sure what happened, why, I don't know, maybe half of them. I know the majority of the comments are in except for education, and I want to say some of TNR. But I know last month was the first month they changed it up where they were having accountants meet with the administrators to sit down to go through their budgets. And then I thought they were just sit right there and put the comments in there together. That ain't what happened.
Oh, and I do appreciate the work, but it's, like I said, you know, especially for me, this is another full-time position. But it helps when all these things are in, so we can, just have the opportunity to review it and have, I guess, just that confidence in that people are paying attention to it, even the ones that are the operators, you know, and the users.
And I agree, Brian, you know, I stress month after month about comments and stuff like that. And usually when I get back, like tomorrow now, I'll go in and I'll just sit there. This FSR is like my Bible and stuff like that. When I meet with departments, I take this in here. Okay, what happened? We need to get this cleaned up. We need to close this out. We need to fix these shortages and stuff like that. And a lot of times I sit in the meetings with the accountants and the program people, and we go through just their budget. So, and I agree, and like I said, I stress those comments are so important, you know, so the council knows what's going on, why you're overspending in this program, why you're not overspending, you're underspending and stuff like that. And I even sat in the the language, and from that meeting, I put my own comments down, and then when I looked at the FSR, I didn't even write no comments in there, and I'm like, you know, that's not what that was all about. But like I said, I did print out my sheet with my comments from that meeting and stuff like that. They didn't put them into their own programs. So I don't know if something's skipping or missing or.
As I think I do all of you, we all do. So I want to just give you a little, we've been really focusing on the okay? And this happens to be the month of the month, and the month brings us courage. And we're teaching the children about that, what it's like, what it means to have courage. And we talk about the tribal council. Sometimes the kids are walking down the fence, and there's future tribal council right there. They want to put a little heart down there, so it's a little hard to show courage. So we'll pass these out. For one, they made one for each one of you. The boards are really rustic. Might get slivers, so watch out. I didn't say hand sand them. Oh, shit.
Just hold down the board.
Yeah, they're taking care of our little bush while they're here. We also, yeah. And we just want you all to know that it does take courage to be in the tribal council. It takes a lot of courage. So.
Sarah is also online. Sarah.
we wanted to let you know we have our team here with us. If anybody has any questions specific to their area, Kathy is out this afternoon and Jenny is back at the center making sure everybody is good. We have kiddos there still, so we didn't want to leave everybody hanging.
Any questions? Any questions, council, on the self-assessment document? They've had these for quite a while, so we gave them all to them last week, except for budget, they always.
I think we already answered it, Nicole. But this stuff is just requirements that we don't need,
We'll take action on them as a group at the end.
that we don't need,
We'll take action on them as a group at the end.
yeah.
Notification from Office of Head Start that we need to take a look at our grant and remove some words in there regarding diversity, inclusiveness, and equity. There's about a 3-page list that we received that we have to do some word finds. So while these are what we had already that went to policy council and everything else, there are some things that we have to do in order to have OHS accept our application.
So we may have to change it. If we have any of those words, we may have to thesaurus it and find a different word that means the same thing without using that word, is basically what we've been told.
Compliance will review all the documents before they're submitted, and they have all the same guidance. That's why we have a compliance department, so we'll make sure. The next document we have in our records is goals and objectives, which any questions on the goals and objectives, folks? They don't have the full community assessment, but it's just that community assessment outcomes document is the next one that they have.
That is changed from the years past. Years past, we've had like a 25 to 40 page community assessment. This year, at the end of February, we found out they only wanted the key findings from your assessment. They do not want the entire document uploaded. So that is what you have in front of you.
The next document we have are the school readiness goals and evaluation checkpoint measures. Any questions on that, council?
I just have one on the previous, document.
Yeah.
That condensed word, we still have, just because we're not requiring the full comprehensive, we still maintain that or do that, right?
Yeah, we still have a full community assessment. Melissa was helping us reorganize what we had. There's one chunk left to put in for the language training program, but otherwise the full community assessment is complete.
How's that new classroom change that you gotta do? Is that working out?
The immersion classroom,
Sorry, I was looking on here, you're looking about some space and you were looking to possibly get with, I lost where I was.
the collaborative room with
Yeah,
CCDF.
there you go.
Yes, we haven't started that yet. We are anticipating that it's gonna be a real successful room. It'll help both programs with staffing and with kids.
A little easier transition, you think?
I think it'll help us serve more families.
Good, thank you.
Any questions from council on the annual report, self-assessment, goals and objectives, community assessment outcomes, school readiness goals, or training plan? Those were those top documents you have on your list. Speak now while all their people are here, because we're gonna move to executive session to cover the budget. Any last? All right, let's, need a motion to move to executive, please. Motion's by David, second by Brian. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. We'll move to executive at 2:57. We will the position. Now, we need council action to apply.
At this time was to clear some frontage there, clear some tree frontage. Nothing about hauling or dredging or taking anything out or adding. We start getting the permitting issues. I think just opening it up to the water is the first step.
That's a suggestion. Since we do have the material, we have some of those big concrete slabs that went on the fish dock, commercial dock. I think they use similar things down here on their landing. That could probably be just grabbed and utilized right over there. In that way, we would have a place for tribal members to launch their small boats.
You're talking like a boat launch?
Yeah, since it's already there for a canoe launch, probably replace the wooden timbers part with those concrete, whatever the hell they're called, slabs.
I was down there, so you got about a 2-foot transition, and I think it might be an idea. But anyways, I just had a question and you answered it.
Yeah, there's even the joining area Doug and I have talked about from the beach at Duffy's Dock over to Living Adventure, maybe trying to open that up a little bit. There's a giant ravine swale in between there, but it's just full of like willows that people want beach access. They want water access and want beach access, and we're trying to get them away from the fishing dock, which probably won't fully happen because everybody loves swimming from there. But, elders and other families that want to get down to the waterfront, that's what we heard in every community survey that we took about that property is they want community access.
It would also allow us to use some of the parking lot by the fish, because we don't want to make a lot of parking lots. We'd rather leave it natural, so.
Is there any question about the funding source? We have the financial report attached showing you our FY23 balance.
And what I will do is I will do a budget mod off of the discretionary, and I will move it over to 108 as a council project so I can keep track. And that's where I put anything that comes out of the general fund FY23. Whenever council approves it to go somewhere, I give it a specific name so I can keep track of everything. So Doug, when I do that, I'll give you the numbers you can use.
75.
I'll make a motion to approve the $75,000.
Second? Yeah, FY23 general fund balance. Okay, we'll put it in the minutes. We have a motion by David and a second by Shania. Is there any other discussion? If you have any other input or ideas, please give them to Doug. But he's doing a great job. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Motion carries.
Amy Bushford, fitness.
I gotta go start right now on it.
We did. I wanna see that contract cover sheet tomorrow.
Yeah, got it. The weather's gonna be nice.
Yeah. Let's move to item 11 on our agenda. Dave?
Good evening.
before you is what is hopefully the last long extended effort. Since I've been here in '89, we've had a number of revisions to Chapter 7, but we never really took a look at that chapter internally. There was never an effort to do any sort of comprehensive rewrite of Chapter 7. So this is phase 2 of that effort, which started in December of 2022. So we're over 2 years into this project. This was originally set to come back at the second meeting in February. That was not realistic for a number of different reasons, primarily because we wanted to meet with the fishing committee, the administration, meet with the fishermen, talk this stuff through with them, make sure that they're on board, and I'm happy to report that they are. And so, with all of that said, I sent you a memo back on December 13th, 2024 that walks you through this second round of substantive amendments to Chapter 7. And we can go through that now. First of all, it amends the definition of active fishing. Now require 15 days before July 15th of each fishing year instead of 5. That includes setting and lifting of nets. Any lifting or setting of nets 15 times before July 15 means that you meet the active fishing definition. Clarification to 7.2.1 that talks about not requiring possession of a license if you're a deckhand. An additional provision within 7.2.1 requiring that licensees are present at least 60% of the time fishing activity is conducted under the license, and making licensee ineligible for a license in subsequent years if they fail to meet the active fishing requirement. Prohibiting the outright transfer of licenses and requiring that new vessel owners submit a new application with the exception of legacy transfers. We have now further defined legacy transfers to specify immediate family, meaning mother, father, sister, brother, son, and daughter. Amend the waiting list rules to require an application each year. Define required equipment for engaging in trap net fishing. Clarifying the provisions. No, we're not clarifying the provisions on net mesh size. We scrapped that. Prohibiting transfer of tags and effort prior to July 15 unless you've met your requirement already. And that is one of the wrinkles that we ironed out with the fishing committee, with the fishermen when we met with them a few weeks back. And then further refining rules on reporting, clarifying provisions in Michigan fishing. So with that introduction, I would be happy to answer any questions anybody might have, any discussion you want to engage in. This has been thoroughly vetted. There's a resolution ready for you to adopt this. It has now been posted.
I make a motion to adopt that resolution and the changes in Chapter 7.
I'll second.
Is there any other discussion? If not, Miigwech, Dave, for your attention to this. It was not an easy process. I have a lot of dumb questions along the way, I will admit. So, if we don't have any other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
No abstention.
One abstention, Brian. Fisherman Brian.
One that's never played.
Motion carries. Resolution number 32025A. Miigwech, everyone.
Welcome to the Good Council. I'll catch it. Thanks.
Okay. Hello, Ameren. Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for hanging out.
My ears are fading in and out today for some reason, and I'll try to get that fixed.
Do we know, is Scott coming?
I told him there's the expectation that he's here. In writing, in person, I just texted him. I don't see him outside.
Well, he was informed between the last meeting and now that the council would really have liked to hear from him directly. Everybody heard that? But Scott did receive ample notice from the last meeting when we tabled his extension request, when council tabled it, to now, and additional reminders from Ameren that he should really be here in person to present his request for extension. So that is the first item we will take business on, is Scott's request for an extension to December 31st, 2025, and whether or not he provided enough support and evidence to allow for that extension.
I'm the one that voted last month, made a motion not to approve it, and I still feel the same way, because I don't think there's been enough done. And I feel that what Ameren's done, he's followed up on it, and all we're doing is giving extensions for land that's not getting fixed. So I stand by my motion last month, and I make a motion not to approve.
We have a motion on the floor by David that will die if there's no second.
I'll second.
Would you like to have further discussion?
I just have one question. Was that identified as one of, I've seen they're cleaning up sites. Was that one of the sites that were identified? No?
No, he applied for it with the understanding that he was responsible for cleaning it up.
Okay, that's all I have. Question?
We have a motion on the floor by David to deny the extension request and a second by Angie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay, next up, we have a lease modification for the lease of Victoria Gordon and Lisa Bill, now known as Lisa Avenue, to remove Victoria's name from the lease and to add her sister Verna Warner to the lease at 8845 Pike Road. And I spoke with the sisters, and they said that Lisa would be the one living there. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer them.
Removing the Victory adding Vita to the lease. Why wouldn't we have added Alexis?
Victoria's beneficiary designation listed Lisa and I think Alexa was going to get the car or something like that. I did add her wishes associated on the packet. And it specifically says my name, Lisa Bill, and Vita one is successor to my lease. Lisa was already on it, and it's just a matter of taking Victoria off of it and putting Vita on it instead.
Is Vita gonna reside there?
I'm sorry, what's that?
I mean, right now, I guess we don't have any evidence showing otherwise.
I'll make a motion to add Vita to the lease and remove Victoria.
We have a motion on the floor by Shania.
I'll second.
I got Angie. Any other discussion?
Question?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Resolution number 32025B.
Oh, wow. She's just prepared.
Next up is, a voluntary leave cancellation from Dean Dakala. His wife unfortunately passed away, about a year ago. And, Dean would like to cancel the lease in order to make it available to, Lori's brother and sister, Bill Benton and, Kathy Elmer. And their application's in the process of being reviewed currently, but we have to cancel the Dakala lease to make it available for Kathy and Bill. There's no property built on the site right now, so that's why we're canceling the lease, to give them a new lease with a new timeline to build on it.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by David and a second by Rick. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Resolution number,
32025C.
dang, it's like a bingo collar over there. Dang.
Next up is a moratorium request from the Environmental Department and Land Office for 37450 Pike Road, which was the former lease site of Elizabeth Sylvia Johnson.
Motion by Laura, second by Rick. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Butch.
Rick, council?
We don't need a resolution on that, right?
Yeah.
That says it then.
Oh, yeah.
32025D.
Rick.
Butch Hammer. We have item 13. Motion by Rick to ratify, second by Shania. Any other discussion? Thank you for your prompt responses on the pole vault request. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Is there anything under other that folks would like to address? Otherwise, we have advertised community comment at 4:30.
I have another.
Sure.
I'd like to, see if, Chairwoman and Chairman, Vice Chairman would take a look at our, motion we made a few months ago about the, housing board member resignation. And I sent you an email on it. If you both would please, address that, and, that's respectfully.
I saw your email, Dave. I couldn't remember. Did you actually make a motion on that?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I did, and there was a second.
Okay.
And I gave the action, Butch sent it to me, and I gave it to Steven.
There's
So-
no malice there. It's, I'm looking at the continuity of our council and our motions that we make. And, if we need to stand by those and also keep our, board members, hold them up to what they, swear to do for our community and tribe.
Thank you.
Anything else under other? We can recess, I guess, for 15 minutes.
girl carrying the army flag too, and Jimmy Lightfeather's daughter, and his other daughter was, she was there too. She was the same reference as she was. Sweet nothing's there.
Huh?
Whispering sweet nothing's there for him.
I'm whispering to my children, I'm like a counselor. My son's been working at my house, getting sloppy, dirty, and think we need to.
Just leave it?
Yeah, it takes off my snowblower up on my tracks. Whatever. So, I took all my clothes and insurance and patient file.
Oh, there you are. I was just texting you back, sorry.
I printed 4.
Okay, thanks. Oh, that's bad.
She's like, I was like, she was like, man, I was looking at yours that night. You check the perimeter, John? Check the perimeter. There's a couple ladies walking by, you didn't even notice.
Johnny's making last call
There's a
from.
couple ladies walking by, hoping you'd notice them. Nothing?
A lot of ladies that don't notice. Shoes, ankles were all bruised. No shaver legs.
When we're somewhere, I'm just gonna leave.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
He's not with us.
No, Shania did. Oh. A motion by Shania to adjourn.
Second.
By Brian. All those in favor, please say aye.
Hi.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.